Ring turnout dips. What are they? How are they different than normal dips? Most importantly, why should you care? What's up guys, Dr. Wes Hendricks here, and before we get into the points of performance on how to execute these with perfect technique, let's cover why these are more difficult than your traditional ring dips. With the ring turnout dips, we want our hands for the starting and ending position to be roughly at a 90-degree angle, or think palms facing forward. Next, it differs from your traditional ring dip with the amount of shoulder extension it requires. Shoulder extension, think bringing your arms behind your body. The hand position's gonna increase the lever arm, so we need to go deeper to actually reach the bottom position of the rep. The ring turnout dip is unique because it also provides a huge capacity to work our elbows, shoulder connective tissue, and provides a straight arm stimulus for our bicep. It's also a great movement to prep our elbows for higher level skills such as one arm chin up, planche, and lever. These results most likely come from the hand position of the rings themselves, since it's decreasing the inherent stability of the rings, forcing you to stabilize them via increased muscular coordination, as opposed to a traditional ring or bar dip where the hands are going to be in a more parallel position, so it's just easier. The biggest downside to this variation of dip is it's just fucking uncomfortable on the forearm. The supinated hand position for the most part is going to pin the back of the forearm against the ring for basically the entire range of motion. Yeah, it sucks. Sorry. For the setup, you want to position the rings at shoulder height. This gives you roughly enough clearance, which will ensure that your legs have room in the bottom position of the dip. Set the rings up at roughly shoulder width. A great way to measure this is from the tip of your middle finger to your elbow. From here, you can make it a little wider or narrower based on personal preference. The ring turnout dip is super versatile. You can focus more on strength, so the lower rep range, think anything under 8 reps. And that would be more of a primary movement, so it'd be in the beginning of your training session. Or if you're more on the advanced side, you can think of it more as accessory work in the higher rep range. Think anything over 8 reps, and it'd be at the end of our training session. As you master the technique, you can start to progress the movement either by adding weight or manipulating the tempo. So think slow, eccentric, and a pause in the bottom. Either way, first and foremost, please get the technique down so you're actually doing a ring turnout dip and not just compensating and turning into a normal dip. To begin, you want your elbows locked out, palms facing forward, so roughly 90 degrees, with a neutral scapula position. We actually want to avoid protracting since this causes the chest to cave in. As you lower down, make sure to keep the rings turned out at the same angle for the duration of the movement. In the bottom position, you want your humerus, upper arm, to form a 90-degree angle to your radius and your ulna, or forearm. When first getting this movement pattern down, I don't prescribe to a specific tempo. Make sure you lower under control as your shoulder stretches. Hands down, the most common error we're gonna see is losing that supinated position, either on the way down or the way back up. And it's just gonna come from lacking the strength and mobility to actually control that position. So what ends up happening is we just compensate and move in the path of least resistance, which in this case is turning the hands back to parallel like a standard or traditional dip. Another common error is gonna be just simply not going deep enough. Remember, we want a 90-degree angle in the bottom position or our elbow in line with our shoulder. Lastly, I would say would be overextending our spine or almost using this twerking movement to get out of the bottom position of the dip. Now you're probably thinking, fuck, I can't come close to doing these. How do I go about progressing them? Where I like to start people is the ring turnout support holds. This is going to begin to familiarize your shoulders and elbows with the decreased stability provided by the rings. What I typically like to do is start people off just with the hands in a parallel position. And over time, as you start to become more comfortable with the position, start rotating the hands out until the palms are facing forward in that 90-degree position. Next, we have ring turnout push-ups. The horizontal torso position's gonna place less load on the shoulders, making it a more manageable variation to get started with. Likewise, we can increase or decrease the angle of the torso, allowing us once again to place more or less load on the shoulders, which in turn will allow us to focus on quality over quantity. We also can't forget about building strength and mobility in shoulder extension. It's a super underutilized, super undertrained range in people. This is mainly why the ring turnout dip is such a problematic movement for a lot of people. What I like to start people off with are barbell rollouts. It's a great way to start progressing this untrained range of motion. Lastly, we can do a mechanical advantage ring turnout dip. This is taking advantage of the fact that we're going to be stronger in the eccentric portion of the movement, so we'll perform a ring turnout dip eccentric, and then simply turn the hands back to parallel for the concentric, press back to the top, repeat for reps. Over time, we can build the strength to start doing the concentric portion of the movement. All right, that's all I have on ring turnout dips. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, and please, please, please hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. And I'll see you guys next week.